Started the recording. Got a little bit different camera angle tonight, trying something new. Hi, everybody. Doing a little camera adjustment here. I'm gonna make sure I can see the chat. Yeah, I can't. Want to do a little camera adjustment. Do a little camera adjustment on Facebook. Okay, so I can see the chat. There we go. There we go. Instead of having camera side to side, I try to do them top to bottom. Going to try that tonight. Hi, everybody. So glad to be here tonight. We are talking about medical debt. I was running a little late, didn't do this in advance. And y'all know I don't edit my videos, so YouTube, you get unedited. So, welcome. Super excited to be here tonight. My name is Jennifer Matthews. Welcome to the weekly broadcast of Developing Your Debt-Free Dream Lifestyle. I am so glad to have you here tonight, as always, every week, every Thursday night. So, what are we here for? Developing Your Debt-Free Dream Lifestyle. I am Jennifer Matthews of Matthews on Money. And I coach Henrys, like the man's name, Henry, and that's a true demographic. Hopefully by now you have checked it out. You've Googled it. Henry stands for HE, high earner, NRY, not rich yet. High earner, not rich yet. That is the Henry demographic. So I coach Henrys how to get out of debt and dream again using my signature money system. So that's what I do. And every Thursday night, I come live 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, which is the top camera, and Zoom, which is the bottom camera. And I answer questions. If you're on Zoom, most of the time I have slides, and then I upload it to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel where I put all this good information. So tonight we're talking about medical debt, because to develop your debt-free dream lifestyle, we got to get rid of this debt. Because where I live in Maryland, we had about that much snow yesterday. Actually, I was talking to my mom. I said, "Oh, I'm so glad I live on this side of the street, because the people on the other side of the street, they still have the little bit of snow we got yesterday. They still have it because they live in the shade. So they still have like a dusting on the roof, on the grass, wherever it fell, they still have it, because even though it got to be like 50 degrees today, they didn't get enough sunshine to melt it. But some other people, like my friends I'm connecting with after this call, one of them lives in Minneapolis and they got a whole lot of snow. So my dream lifestyle is warm and sunny, overlooking the water, with none of that 4-letter stuff that begins with the letter S. So for some people, medical bills, prescriptions are standing in the way of or slowing down the progress of getting out of debt and moving towards dreams. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and I do have some slides. I'm going to pop to the slides on the Zoom side, and as always, you can go to YouTube later and watch the slides. Waiting for the slides to come up. So we always begin with our disclaimer. Individual financial results may vary. Yours truly, Jennifer S. Matthews, Creating Financial Literacy, LLC, and any of its entities do not render financial, legal, tax, or real estate advice. This content is for informational purposes only. And especially tonight, or as always, you have to do your research, you have to do your homework. Okay? Do your homework. Probably everybody watching this has a different insurance plan. And there may be a few people that don't have insurance at all. So you definitely need to do your research. Do your research. Okay, so I'm titling this tonight, Medical Debt and Costly Prescriptions. Me, costly prescription. I'm going to talk about that. Hey, Bev, I'm so glad you're here because we're going to talk about some stuff because me and you, we got that kindred thing going on. So we're going to talk about us. So let's talk about medical debt. Medical debt comes about many ways. There can be planned medical care. You know when you're expecting that there's going to be a medical expense with the delivery of the child. You can have elective surgery. There's going to be a medical expense. You can have an unexpected medical expense. Car accidents happen every day. Injuries happen every day. I jokingly talk about when I had to have my gallbladder out for Christmas, like Merry Christmas. I thought I had food poisoning, and the doctor said, no, it's your gallbladder. And it was 8 days before Christmas, a couple of years ago. Okay, unexpected medical expense. It can be an uncovered but necessary treatment that you get a bill for. For example, sometimes the ambulance ride to the hospital isn't uncovered, but it's a necessary treatment. How are you going to get there? It's an emergency. And the ride is not covered, but the medical need is. You have to go. You have to get there. And it's not safe for somebody else to take you. Get in the ambulance and go. We'll figure out how to pay for it later. Put your life first. Go. And we'll figure out how to pay for it later. Then there's uncovered experimental treatments. A lot of people need those uncovered experimental treatments. And then there are prescriptions. We hear all the time about seniors who have to choose between prescriptions and food. Well, that age is trickling down. Yours truly. I will talk about the cost of my prescription later. Okay, so that's some of the medical debt. So you need to know what you owe. When you expect a lot of medical bills, and I have a friend, and I don't know if she's watching or not, but her child, who is extremely well, so let me put that there first, years ago was diagnosed with cancer, and she's doing very well, extremely well, fully remission, extremely well. Put that out there first. So she was expecting a lot of bills. She couldn't even worry about it. Her thing is her child. And even though it was the diagnosis followed by the doctor saying, keep planning her Sweet 16, keep funding her college trust fund because she's going to be fine, as a mother, she heard cancer and shut down. And then these bills start coming in right away. Keep track. And your mind may be going all over the place depending on what it is, whether it's something, life-threatening like cancer, and it could be life-threatening, could be, a catastrophic accident. Keep all the mail in one place. It could be, I should have picked one up. It could be a big file folder, one of those accordion file folders. It could be a spreadsheet if you have the time to open the envelope and enter it into an Excel spreadsheet. It could just be a drawer. Hey, Cynthia, it could just be a drawer. But you want to keep this stuff in one place. Keep it in one place. Don't keep it all over the place. Keep it in one place. If you're not able to be at home with your mail, and let me tell you, this is not the time to go green and have stuff coming electronically. This is the time for paper. Because you got too much going on and it's too easy to accidentally delete stuff. This is the time for paper. Clean out a drawer and tell whoever is at your house, just put it in that empty drawer. So it's all in one place and you know where it is. Make some kind of payment. $10 is fine. Call them up and say, look, this is ongoing. We're not working right now. They know what's going on. They're your provider. We're not working right now. We're overwhelmed right now. Call a spade a spade. In good faith, we're going to send you $10 right now because that's all my brain can handle. And we're going to send you $10 every month because that's all my brain can handle. And send them $10 every month. Do not put it on your credit card unless you absolutely have to. And don't get it twisted and tell them we're going to send you $100 a month. Because if you got the surgeon, you got the hospital, you got the oncologist, you got the radiologist, you got the gerontologist, you got the toeologist, the neuro, you got every ologist they have, 10 of them is $100. At $100 a piece, 10 of them is $1,000. You send each one of them $10 a month. You have to call them or have somebody call them, get an agreement. Hey, we got too much going on. We're not working. This is overwhelming. We need you to work with us. We want to pay you, but it's too much right now. In good faith. Until we can see our way clear. The baby is in the NICU. I got to take care of my baby. Hey, Gail, I got to take care of my baby right now. I can't worry about the $10,000 a day hospital bill. They know that's not your priority. They got kids. They do this for a living. Don't put it on your credit card. We're going to talk about that more later. And do not refinance your house. We're going to talk about that later too. Contact the hospital social worker to see what assistance is available. This is where you want to swallow any pride you have and hold your hand out and say, thank you. I appreciate all the help you can give me. Thank you. Thank you. Contact all the community organizations related to whatever the diagnosis is. If it's cancer, American Cancer Society, and then each individual diagnosis has an organization. So if it's breast cancer, you got multiple breast cancer organizations. If it's lymphoma, leukemia, every kind of cancer there is has a sub-organization. And they all have resources, not just financial resources. Contact them for all the resources they have, not just financial. Most people don't realize American Cancer Society provides rides back and forth to people for chemotherapy. There's an organization called Cleaning for a Reason that will come in, I think it's once a month, and provide professional house cleaning to women going through chemotherapy. They will come in and clean your house for free. All kinds of resources, but you have to step up and ask. So whatever the diagnosis is for the situation, start with the hospital social worker and then hit the internet and find whatever organizations support that diagnosis. There are foundations out there that help with medical expenses. There are foundations out there that help if there's something where a house needs to be modified, maybe fitted with, a bathroom needs to be fitted with grab bars, or a house needs a wheelchair ramp. There's foundations out there that pay for that stuff. That's not an added expense that most people have to take on. There's money out there for that. When it comes to these medical bills, negotiate. Negotiate. See if you can get the total amount lowered on each individual bill. Call them up and negotiate. When you have that final bill, call and negotiate, especially if you've been sending them a little bit of money all along. Say, well, look, in good faith, I've been sending you a little bit of money. I've been sending you $10 a month. Now we got the whole bill and I owe you $30,000. Can we knock it down to $15,000? Can we knock it down to $10,000? Like, start low. Like, my goal is to get this thing to $15,000. Let me start at $8,000, something crazy, and negotiate. It may take you a couple of phone calls. Do some research before you call. How to negotiate a medical bill. You want to do this before it goes to collections. You want to do this in the beginning, before it gets 30 days past due. You want to start negotiating before it goes to collections. That's important. Before it goes to collections, you want to start negotiating with each bill. When you're negotiating, you always want to take notes during the phone call. Write down the name of the person you spoke to. Ask them for their direct phone number. Write down the date and the time of your phone call. If you're able to reduce and negotiate a new amount, write down the new amount and then get that in writing. You need them to write it to you so that you have that amount officially documented in writing. But medical bills are negotiable. They would rather have $10,000 or $15,000 towards a $30,000 bill than have $30,000 go to collections and they don't get it. They really would. They really would. Then once you have the final amount, make payment arrangements. Make a payment arrangement with each individual creditor and agree to a payment amount, get this, that is far less than what you can comfortably afford to pay. Let me say it again. When you make a payment arrangement, and this goes for any debt, not just medical debt, agree to a payment that is far less than what you can comfortably afford. So let me use myself as an example. So I had elective surgery that was necessary, but it was elective versus the gallbladder was emergency. I got there at 4 o'clock in the morning and I was sick as a dog. That was not an option. But this was elective. I picked a date and I strolled into the hospital. Okay. The insurance company paid 80%. And I was left with 20%. So I'm going to cover two things. There was a medicine that my doctor wanted me to have. And she said, it's very important to you that I give you this medicine in the hospital. Because if I wait for your post-op visit and give it to you then, it's $1,500 and it's not covered by insurance. But if I give it to you while you're in the hospital, it's covered. What? Yes, give it to me now. That's one thing. You have to know the rules. And she was smart enough that she knew the rules. And they put that medicine in my IV. And when I got the bill, there it was, $1,500 right on the bill, and it was covered. But the total bill, they paid $8,000 and I was responsible for $2,000. I called and made a payment arrangement because I knew I could. And I kindly told them that I would gladly send them $25 a month. Y'all do the math. It's just shy of hell freezing over. $25 a month. And I kindly proceeded to send them $100 a month. Because I knew I could afford to send them $100 a month. But I was only on the hook for $25 a month. So that any month, if anything came up, my responsibility was $25. And that's the point that I want you to understand. I could afford to send them more than $25, but I held my ground. And I said, no, $25 a month, because it's zero interest. And this will be on a slide later. It's zero interest. It wasn't costing me more to spread it out. And I paid it off right away. But I was only on the hook for $25 a month. And I sent them 100. Sometimes I sent them more. But if anything ever came up one month and I needed to move money to a different line item, I only had to send them 25. And my payment plan was never in jeopardy. That's the point I'm making. You agree to a payment amount that is far less than what you know you can comfortably afford. And that's anytime you negotiate a payment plan with a creditor. far less than you know you can comfortably afford. Don't let them push you into a payment that stretches you. No. You can always stretch yourself, but don't let them back you into a corner and stretch you. Now, you have to stick with the payment plan and you have to honor your word. You have to stick with the payment plan and you have to honor your word. That's critical. That's critical. Now let's talk about credit cards and medical debt. Because my friend with her daughter, she hates debt. And these bills piling up was stressing her out. Nowhere near as much as the diagnosis, but I mean, she's just, I mean, if you're a parent, you get it. You know, your child's got cancer, you're watching her go through the chemo, she's lost her hair, and, you know, just, it was horrible. It was horrible. And she said to me one day, I'm just going to pay these bills and put it on my credit card. I was like, no, you're not. Absolutely not. The hospital bills are 0% interest. Do not transfer medical debt to credit cards. And do not use credit cards to pay for your medical debt unless it's absolutely necessary. And I mean, you have exhausted all other means. Use cash. Because medical debt is usually 0% interest. As soon as you put it on a credit card, you just put 0% interest onto 18% interest, or 25% interest, or 29% interest. Whatever the interest rate is on your credit card, you went from 0% over here to 18, 24, 29% interest over here. No. Don't do that. Make the 0% payment arrangements. Don't go to the bank and get a loan, because that's 8, 12, 15% interest, when if you do it directly with the provider before it goes to collections, it's probably 0%. Do your homework. Find out, is your provider 0%? And pay the provider directly from your checking account. It's a 0%. It's not costing you anything. And then when it comes to your regular visit copays, budget for that. If you know you go to the doctor quarterly and it's $40 per visit, then you should be planning ahead for that $40 copay. That shouldn't be on a credit card either. Budget for that. If you know you go every other month, or maybe you have, you know, the doctor and the specialist or whatever, and it balances out that every other month you're going to one or the other, that should be budgeted out. And that should be done with a debit card or cash, not a credit card. You know that's coming, and that's a small amount. Copays are what, $10 to $40, and you know that's coming. So plan for the copay. I'm talking about medical expenses, major expenses. I'm not talking about these little bills. Prescriptions. They used to be little bills, not anymore. So let's talk about prescriptions. Use generics whenever possible. If you are allergic, have it documented. Work with your physician. somebody in your physician's office is assigned to she's assigned to work with like the insurance companies and stuff. Have that person lobby on your behalf for the insurance company to pay for the brand name drug due to it being medically necessary. Because that person's probably an expert at standing on their head, because that may be what it takes to get the insurance company to pay for the brand name and not charge you through the nose for it because it's medically necessary for you. But for the rest of us, use generics. Also, contact, and this is something that you're going to have to do, contact your insurance company about ways to get discounts on prescriptions. I think it's called formulary. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it. I know my insurance company, they sent me something not that long ago. They give an extra discount on some of the most commonly used medicines. And of course, mine wasn't on the list. I thought maybe my migraine medicine, my everyday migraine medicine was going to be on the list, but it wasn't. I was hoping it would be. So that's something that you have to do. So contact your insurance company. If you take like a regular medicine, like a blood pressure, a diabetes medicines, something that a whole lot of the population takes, they may have an extra discount on that medicine. But that's something that varies by insurance company. They're not going to tell you. You got to go ask. So go and see asthma medicines, like some of the super common drugs, they may offer an extra discount. You have to go and ask. So call and ask if you're on something that's very common. Even if it's new to you, but if it's something that's super popular in the population, they may offer an extra discount. So you have to call and ask. Explore 90-day mail order prescriptions. If your insurance company covers them, sometimes they have special arrangements, and you can get a 90-day prescription through mail order and get an extra discount that way that they will cover. Call and ask. Here we go. My other migraine medicine, not the everyday migraine medicine, the one I take once a month, $575. That probably makes your head hurt. And it's not covered. Yeah. So you look for discounts and you ask for samples. My mom has eye drops that are like $200 and $300. She gets samples. I looked at the doctor. I said, now, if you want me to take that medicine, you're going to have to find me some samples, because I'm going to let my head hurt. For $600 a month, my head's just going to hurt. I'll stick with the everyday medicine and the supplemental stuff I've been taking. I'm not paying $600 a month for one dose. It works good, y'all, because they went and found me some samples. Ask for samples, especially if they don't know it's going to work. All the other stuff they were trying wasn't working. And you want me to pay $600 for one dose that might not work? No, it doesn't work like that with me. It doesn't work like that with me. Ask. You have not because you ask not. And then budget for prescriptions. Budget for prescriptions. Okay, last but not least, I think this is the last slide. A long time ago, one of my first mentors was a nurse. And she told me that managed care, this back when HMOs were just starting, before all of this stuff now with insurance companies. She told me that managed care means managing your care. And I'm literally alive today because I took that to heart. And I have always been one to manage my care. Managed care means managing your care. And that's part of what this is about. No, it's the second to last slide. We have to manage our health. And in terms of that, when it comes to this slide, we need to get our annual physicals, because a lot of our healthcare costs we can control. That's where I'm going with this. We can control. We need to get our annual physicals. We need to get our lab tests. We need to get our blood work done. We need to get all of those exams. Like, you know, I have an AARP card. There's exams that are required when you get an AARP card. So the EKGs, the colonoscopies, ladies and men get breast cancer. So we need to have those mammograms. Brothers, the prostate exam. I know you don't want it, but you got to do that. I put that on the slide just for y'all. We need to eat right. I was doing a presentation for a client last week on holiday budgeting, and I was talking about shopping earlier, not wait until December. And I said, except for little kids, because they grow this way, whereas we grow this way. And they chuckled, but managing our health. We do. We grow around the middle, whereas kids shoot up. So we need to eat right. We need to exercise, because we truly can prevent some of our medical expenses. We really can prevent some of our medical expenses. So, how did I come up with this topic today? I walked into the room, I left the TV on and walked out, and came back in, the Doctors was on, the TV show The Doctors was on. And they were talking about unknown medical bills. I'm like, what? So apparently people have medical bills that they sincerely don't know about. They never got the bill in the mail. It goes into collections, and they actually get served, process served. They go to court and they end up in jail. And debtor's prison is illegal, but it's still actually going on. And they had several people who had spent time in jail. This one woman was on there, and she had gone to jail for a ambulance bill. She never received it, never saw it. And they had a case in New York where this process server actually lied in court and said that he has served 190 notices and he had not. And those cases were overturned. Crazy. It's the craziest thing. I had never seen it before. But truly, in some states, people are actually going to jail for medical bills that they did not know about. And I'm looking at this, and this was this morning, y'all. Like, I put this together today. Like, I've talked about handling medical bills, like everything up to this slide, I've taught on before. This slide, this blew my mind today, and I just needed to put this in here because it was really mind-blowing. And there's nothing that you can do. There's not a whole lot you can do, put it to you that way. There's a couple of things you can do. But if you don't know you have a medical bill, and in that case, the lady was in labor, so she had to take the ambulance, and it was a high-risk pregnancy. And so she had to take the ambulance, and she got all the other bills, but she never got the ambulance bill. And she served like 6 days in jail. It was crazy. But anyhow, if you ever end up in that situation where there's an unknown medical bill, here's how, the only way I can figure out that you might know about it. If you are reviewing your credit reports at least annually, this should have shown up. That's the only way I can think about it, because this had to go through collections. She had moved a couple times, so this had to have gone through collections. And it should have shown up on her credit report. So if you're checking your credit report annually, which I preach, y'all, this should have shown up. So that's one way I can think of that you would have known that you had this bill. Then if it still slips through the cracks somehow, you would have your credit report and say, look, hey, my credit report is clean. I check my credit report every year. There's no delinquency on my credit report for this debt. Number two, I've spent this whole time talking about paying your medical bills. So you would not have a history of delinquent medical bills. Because if you've made that payment plan and you've been paying your $25 a month or your $10 a month on time, Your Honor, I was in the hospital, or we have all of these bills from that, and look, Your Honor, everything is paid on time. I never received this bill because it would be listed here with these other ones and paid on time. And there were two attorneys on the show today. One advocate for the medical industry, and one who happened to be right here. I live in Maryland, from Annapolis, Maryland, and he was a consumer advocate attorney. Hire a consumer advocate attorney. He was bad to the bone. Hire a consumer advocate attorney to deal with your case in these instances. And you want to work with that attorney to clear your name and expunge your record, because you actually have a criminal record. This lady was driving down the street and she had like a minor traffic violation, and when they ran her tags and her name, there was a warrant out for her arrest. And she had 3 children. She had 3 little children. And they arrested her, handcuffs, the whole 9 yards. And she was like, I'm in jail with these people. I'm sharing a cell with people I don't know, and I'm taking showers and I'm scared to death and blah, blah, blah. She said, I ain't never had more than a traffic violation. And she said she was scared to death. All over an ambulance bill that she never, ever received. So when it comes to unknown medical bills, unknown is unknown. But if you're checking your credit report annually, the delinquency should show up. But if it doesn't show up, you can say, Your Honor, here's my credit reports, because I check them every year. There's no delinquency on here. Your Honor, here's all of my medical bills from that incident. And in her case, she was on medical assistance and all the medical bills have been taken care of. She never got the ambulance bill. So she had no medical debt. So in your case, you would have all of the payments would be current. Hire a consumer advocacy attorney and work with your attorney to clear your name and expunge your record. So, you know what I say. I love this slide. Success does not come to you. You've got to go to it. When it comes to this medical debt, you have got to go to it. We are developing a debt-free dream lifestyle. I'm telling you now, when 2020 hits, because see, right now, y'all are in the shopping, spending mode. Y'all piling up debt. When it comes to 2020, we're going to hit the ground running and get rid of this debt. We're going to get rid of this debt. We got something special coming up at the first of the year. We're going to knock it out. I hope you're serious. Tell your friends. Get on these calls. Get on these calls. Don't wait till January. Get on them now. You know I drop wisdom every Thursday night. I drop wisdom every Thursday night. I don't know what I'm going to talk about from one Thursday to the next, because this was not the topic. I walked in the room this morning and saw that, and it blew my mind. And I said, let me share. Beverly is on here. She can tell you, because she had a medical emergency, landed her in the hospital. I had a similar emergency 10 years ago, landed me not in the hospital, but me and Beverly with kindred spirits. With kindred spirits. So this stuff is real. This is absolutely real. Your life can change in an instant, and you can end up with medical bills. I got that $575 prescription. Those migraines from something that happened 10 years ago. $575 a month. Yeah, you better. Hey, yes, Bev said, yes, we were. $575. You better give me some samples. Absolutely. All right, good people. I will see you here next Thursday night. Bring some people with you. Bring some people with you because I drop wisdom. Have a great week and don't overshop. Next week, Friday, I'm helping the Marines give away the Toys for Tots. Please drop a brand new toy in one of the Toys for Tots boxes. I love it. One of my favorite charities of the year. I love helping the Marines give away the toys. I may do a live because I got toys under my Christmas tree for them. So yeah, I just take them to the site because I know where I go set them up Friday night, give them away on Saturday and Sunday this year. I'm so excited. So drop a new unwrapped toy in one of the boxes for the Marines. It's not too late. Or if you know me, catch me next week and I'll just take them with me on Friday when I go to set up one of my favorite things to do at the holidays. So see you later next Thursday night, 7 o'clock right here. Bring some friends. Don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. Maybe tonight's topic because I didn't get there. So I bumped tonight's topic for the medical debt. See you next week. See you later. Thanks, Gail. Bye-bye.